Welcome, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome, commissioners, staff, petitioners, and citizens to the October 11th Mishawaka Plan Commission meeting. First, I'll start with the introduction of staff. We have our Executive Director, Ken Prince, front row. Krista Hill, our Senior Planner, over to my right. Shad Annis, I believe, is over to my left. He is our Associate Planner. Carrie Myers, our Administrative Planner, to my right. Derek Spear, our City Planner. And David Bent, right in the front row, is our Legal Counsel. I started the Plan Commission meeting with a little note, and it is just congratulating the staff and their hard work on this beautiful facility. Thank you all very much. You've been working overtime, and the fruits of your labor are here for all of us to enjoy. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. This is a great facility for our citizens. Also, point of note, we have a new Plan Commission commissioner, and I'd like to introduce Mike Portalese, who's over to my left. Say hello. All righty. And with that, Carrie Myers, would you please call the roll?
Chris Jamrose.
Here.
Murray Wynn. Woody Emmons.
Here.
Sam Cressy.
Here.
Michael Portlese.
Here.
Nick Triola.
Here.
Chris Torty.
Here.
Dale Freeman.
Here.
Kathleen White Gaddich.
Great, thank you for that. I'll go ahead and go over the rules of procedure, which are up behind me. First, we'll hear a presentation by the petitioners. We'll hear those in favor of the petition will get a chance to come up. Then those against will have a chance to come up and speak. Then we'll accumulate all the questions, have a right of rebuttal by the petitioner. I'll ask our city planner if there's any additional information. Then I'll close the public hearing. And then we'll have a commission discussion and commission vote after that. We do all of our speaking at the podium, and if you could please pronounce your name and give your address, either business or home, very clearly, so Carrie Myers can properly get that down. The previous minutes were passed out, and were there any corrections or additions to those minutes by the commissioners? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving those minutes say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those minutes pass. Is there a conflict of interest on any of the agenda items tonight by the commissioners? Hearing none, that brings us to our first item, which is a public hearing petition 22-16. And this is, has a request for continuance, but I'll read it anyway. So petition 22-16, a petition submitted by Ann Witkowski and Mark Kusanovich as tenants in common, requesting to amend the Gateway Plaza Bremen Highway PUD to allow a second restaurant with a drive-through in a purposed multi-tenant commercial building. This was previously continued on the September 13th meeting, and the petitioner is requesting a continuance on this for November 8th. Do I have a motion of continuance on petition 22-16?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that petition is continued till November 8th. Brings us to the next item on the agenda, which is petition 22-17, a petition submitted by Memorial Health Systems, Inc., requesting to rezone the northeast corner of North Main Street and East University Drive from C1 General Commercial District to S2 Planned Unit Development to allow a mixed-use commercial and residential development. This was also continued from the September 13th meeting. Is there somebody in attendance to present petition 22-17?
Oh, do something new.
John Pericini, 633 Windy Cove Court, Mishawaka. I'm here on behalf of Beacon Health Systems and Drive and Shine, Haji Tarani, on this development. This is kind of a long story, but I'll keep it brief. We've been on this probably since the first of the year. Ken's probably tired of discussing this with me. There he goes, get the thumbs up. We've looked at this site for quite a while. It's been vacant for a long time, as you know. The challenge is that we were trying to line this up with a target site entrance. We are still working on that. It's not done yet, so we backed up to the access points here, working with city engineering and Ken, and trying to, because this site hasn't been accessed for a long time. So after many meetings and dealing with the access points and the development, and everything's kind of preliminary right now, even though you can see there's a lot of conditions on there that we went through. But the car wash is going to sit on the corner, and you're going to see it different. I think some of the issues that Derek and Ken and I worked on really wanted to have something that does not, that softens some, fits more in, a little less automotive looking, I guess would be an easy way to say it. Maybe not correctly, but close to that. So you're going to see this building with, you know, his buildings now, Drive and Shine, maybe 70% glass in some of it, as you can see. This one will be reduced. You'll see, you know, be maybe 40%, and then the rest brick, something similar like that. So you're going to see a different look. That's what we're trying to do out here. So it kind of blends in a lot easier. We're going to have a right in and right out on the east end of the property, and then up in the north will be a left in and a right in and right out. Like I said, we're still working on, but it would be nice someday to get that lined up off that light, and we're going to continue to try to work on that. But right now, got this designed for a couple of drive-throughs, and it's really kind of open yet on what, whether we're going to have, you know, a possible hotel, strip center, something of that nature, but this is what we wanted to get off the bound. Really, the access points were the key, since it's been sitting there dormant for so long. Steve Ruby's here from Avonmarsh with me, and he can talk details on the site also. Questions?
Well, I can tell you've been working hard. I'm looking through the conditions of approval.
Yeah, those are pretty long.
There's, you know, quite a bit of recommendations for approval. Yeah, use cases, traffic impact, road and access, internal circulation, stormwater management, lighting, signage, car wash specific restrictions, landscaping, parking, setbacks, building heights, phases. So I can tell you guys have been working hard
Yeah, it's been.
at putting this through, but.
And it's, you know, it's a prime corner, and we want it to look good, you know, so so far, so good. It just takes a lot of communication.
And so all of the recommendations in here and the conditions of approval, I know you got your fingerprints on it, but you're in agreement with all of them. Great. Any other questions for Mr. Pericini? Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Ruby, Avonmarsh Consulting, 315 West Jefferson, South End. Just to reiterate, as John said, we've been working with the city quite a bit to look at the potential problem areas, try to work through those issues up front as much as possible at this point in time. Looking at the turning and access, as John mentioned, those are very important movements into the site for whatever tenants will go there, future tenants, as well as the car wash facility that's being proposed. Access and safety is key. I think that's number one of the most important things that the city wants to have as well. And then looking at just visibility, we want to make sure that everybody's represented well, so we've looked through the signage, the landscaping portion of it to make sure we're good neighbors to the adjacent properties. So a lot has gone into this, different iterations of the plan itself. So the appellant is, you know, they're seeking from the commercial C1, general commercial right now, to an S2 to allow those flexible uses, whether that be residential or other commercial entities, drive-throughs, et cetera. As John said, that's not nailed down at this point in time, but we'd like to pursue this down the road here with this development and accommodate all the potential uses here through those different means. So with that being said, we ask for your approvals.
Questions for Mr. Ruby from the commissioners? None?
What are the plans for the existing Drive and Shine down on Douglas?
Right now, it's to be maintained and retained as it is currently operating. So, no plans for removal or changing. That's going to stay.
Thank you, Mr. Ruby.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in attendance or online wishing to speak in favor of petition 22-17? Hearing none, is there anybody opposed to petition 22-17, either in attendance or online? Hearing none, is there any additional information, Mr.?
No additional comment.
All right, then with that, I'll close the public hearing, and I'll open it up for commission discussion on 22-17. I have one comment. I remember being amazed when that was Charter Hospital. It seemed like it was only there for like 10 years, and then that whole thing got mowed down, and nothing's been there since, so it's just interesting to see us working and putting some use cases together. So with any other discussions? No, I'll take a motion on 22-17.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve petition 2217 as presented by the petitioners.
Chief?
Second.
Second, Woody? Carrie, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Chambrose,
Yes.
Woody Emmons,
Yes.
Sam Cressy,
Yes.
Mike Portalace,
Yes.
Nick Triola,
Yes.
Chris Torney,
Yes.
Dale Freeman.
Yes.
And 2217 passes unanimously to the council, so it'll have a favorable opinion. That brings us to Plat 22-09, a request submitted by Source USA Realty seeking approval of the two-lot Centennial American Minor Subdivision. Hi.
Good evening. Greg Sharon, Dan Sharon Associates, 1623 Commerce Drive, South Bend, Indiana. Here tonight representing Source USA Realty, Inc. For approval of a two-lot subdivision, Centennial American Minor Subdivision. The first lot, Lot 1, the larger lot, will consist of a self-storage facility, indoor self-storage facility, and Lot 2 will consist of a drive-through restaurant with a drive-through. I think the plans came before the Plan Commission a month or so ago for approval, so this is just submitting the plat to create separate lots for each property and create appropriate easements, drainage easements, cross-access easements between the two lots. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Sharon? Nope, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anybody else in attendance or online wishing to speak in favor of Plat 22-09? Hearing none, is there anybody in attendance or online wishing to oppose 22-09? Hearing none, any additional information?
No additional comment.
Okay, then I'll close the public hearing. If there's no commission discussion, I'll take a motion on 22-09.
I move to approve 22-09.
Nick?
Second.
Second, Woody. Carrie, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Chambrose,
Yes.
Woody Emmons,
Yes.
Sam Cressy,
Yes.
Mike Portalace,
Yes.
Nick Triola,
Yes.
Chris Torney,
Yes.
Dale Freeman.
Yes.
And 22-09 has been approved unanimously. So that brings us to petition 22-18, a petition submitted by Gender Food Service, Inc., requesting to amend the North Main Street planned unit development to allow for a restaurant with drive-through, reduction number of parking spaces, and the use of fiber cement board at 5540 North Main Street. Hi.
Mr. Chair, members of the Planning Commission, good evening. My name is Mark Hunder with Net Lease Acquisitions, 1004 Forest Park Boulevard, Suite 401, Fort Worth, Texas. To simply introduce the project is fairly straightforward. First of all, thank you for staff's help in designing a plan that seems to fit in with the surrounding area. It's a pretty narrow site, but we tried to keep with the existing impervious footprint So I appreciate their comments on, throughout the process, essentially. This is for a 7 Brew coffee, and for those uninitiated, this is a brand that's coming out of Arkansas and kind of spreading across the country. As you can see, the footprint for the building itself is fairly small. There's no indoor seating, hence the request to reduce the number of parking spaces to 7, which is the maximum number of employees on a shift at any given time. To explain a little bit more about the site plan itself, there's actually an employee that will be walking, when it gets busy with a tablet, similar to a Chick-fil-A, something like that, collecting orders. And so it doesn't, the stacking lanes don't need to taper back into the building because the coffee is actually delivered by a runner as well. So if you have any questions on why it doesn't follow a traditional fast food restaurant, that's why. I think I would like to leave it at that, apart from just lastly going to the Nichiha request for that, and something, in speaking with staff about, that's something that that is found, throughout town as an acceptable building material. This is not our corporate prototype, it's a metal structure. Our belief in going to communities is we don't want to force our brand image on the communities, rather we want to immerse ourselves within the tapestry of the place that we're developing. So that's why we're proposing this Nichiha. Respectfully, I don't think that the photocopy does this justice. It's kind of a muted gray, which I believe that it's more of a timeless look that will age well as the years progress. So with that, we would open it up to any questions from the Planning Commission.
Any questions for Mr. Hunter? No, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anybody else in attendance or online wishing to speak in favor of petition 22-18? Hearing none, is there anybody in the room or online wishing to oppose petition 22-18? Any additional information?
No additional comment.
Okay, with that, I'll close the public hearing, open for discussion, or I will take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve petition 22-18.
Sam?
Second.
Nick? Carrie, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Woody Emmons?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Mike Corley?
Yes.
Nick Triola?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes?
Dale Freeman?
Yes.
And petition 22-18 will pass to the council with a recommend for approval. Brings us to the next item, which is a continuance, but I'll read it anyway. We have a site plan 22-12, a request submitted by Vequity seeking final site plan approval for a 9,181 square foot, 5-tenant commercial building at 3625 Bremen Highway. This was continued from September 13th meeting, and the applicant is requesting continuance to November 8th. Do I have a motion to continue this to November 8th?
So moved.
We have a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And site plan 22-12 has been continued to the November meeting. Is there any old business, Mr. City Planner?
None.
None. New business?
None.
Privilege of the floor. Anybody have anything to chat about other than what's on the agenda? And that is an adjournment. Thank you all very much.